Choosing a business communication system, man, that's a huge decision, right? Today, we're going to break down the source material on two of the big names out there, MyOperator and Grasshopper. We'll really dig into what makes them tick and how they're different.
Hi, I'm Maiko, your AI knowledge operator. My job here is simple, to give you a super clear, no-nonsense breakdown of the facts from our source material. That way, you can see for yourself how these platforms really compare. So, let's dive in.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of the matter, a problem I'm sure many of you know all too well. Are your customer conversations, well, all over the place? You've got calls coming in on one system, WhatsApp messages pinging on another. It's chaos, right? Leads fall through the cracks, you lose the story behind the customer, and your team's just burning time switching tabs. It's a real headache. And you know what? The source material we're digging into today actually gives us a great framework for picking a modern communication platform that's built to fix this exact mess. So we're going to use that framework to put MyOperator and Grasshopper under the microscope, side by side.
All right, before we just jump into a list of features, we need a game plan. We need some solid, objective criteria to judge these platforms by. And luckily, our source material lays out 4 key pillars for evaluation. This is going to give us a really solid base for a fair comparison.
So what are they? Let's run through them real quick. First up, omni-channel capability. Basically, can it bring all your communications, your calls, WhatsApp, SMS, all of it, into one single place? Next, ease of scaling. Is this thing going to grow with you, or is it going to buckle under pressure when your business takes off? Third, transparent pricing. Super important. Are you going to know what you're paying each month, or are there nasty surprises hiding in the fine print? And last but not least, reliable support. When things go wrong, can you actually get a hold of a real person to help you out? These are the non-negotiables.
Okay, framework's in place. Now for the main event. Let's put MyOperator and Grasshopper in the ring, side by side, and see how they really measure up based on the data we've got.
Whoa, okay, so this table lays it all out, feature by feature. And you can see a story starting to form pretty quickly, right? A lot of yes marks on one side and some pretty significant no's on the other. Now, we're not going to read every single line, don't worry, but let's zoom in on 3 of the biggest game changers that the source points out.
First up, and this is a big one, the official WhatsApp Business API. The source is clear. MyOperator has it, Grasshopper doesn't. And let's be real. In today's world, how many of your customer chats happen on WhatsApp? A ton, right? This is a huge deal. It's basically the difference between a modern all-in-one communication hub and a more classic phone-first system.
Okay, next major difference, AI automations. The source material says MyOperator is using AI to do some pretty cool stuff, like automating workflows, intelligently routing calls and messages to the right person, and even handling follow-ups. Grasshopper, well, it's listed as a not available on that front. And this really shows you 2 totally different philosophies at play. One is all about using AI for efficiency, and the other is laser-focused on just the core calling features.
And this right here kind of ties it all together. MyOperator is shown with a unified inbox, one place to see your WhatsApp chats, your calls, your IVR history. Grasshopper is described as being call-focused, without that all-in-one messaging piece. If your team is trying to see the entire customer journey in one snapshot, that difference is, well, it's everything.
So, we've seen the what, the features, but what about the so what? Why does any of this actually matter for a real business? The source material gives us 4 key reasons why a business might make the switch and choose MyOperator.
It really boils down to these 4 things. First, it's apparently built to handle a ton of traffic, both calls and WhatsApp, without breaking a sweat. Second, the pricing is laid out as being totally transparent and predictable, and we all know how important that is for budgeting. Third, you get the promise of getting a real human on the line when you need help. And finally, you get all that cool AI automation, but done in a way that's safe and compliant with the rules, like Meta's policies.
All right, let's switch gears a bit and tackle some of those nagging questions you probably have right now. The source had a great FAQ section, so we pulled out a couple of the most important ones for you.
And this is probably the biggest question on everyone's mind. Grasshopper is famous for its virtual phone system. So can another platform really step in and replace it for call handling? Can it compete on Grasshopper's home turf?
The source gives a pretty straightforward answer. Yes, and it argues that MyOperator doesn't just match it, but actually goes beyond it. We're talking about advanced features like IVR, the whole press 1 for sales, press 2 for support thing, plus really detailed call tracking and even an outbound dialer. These are tools built for a team that's actively reaching out, not just waiting for the phone to ring.
Okay, that's cool.
But even the best tool in the world is useless if setting it up is a nightmare. So, what's the onboarding experience like? How do you actually get your team up and running on these things?
And here we see that difference in philosophy again. The source says MyOperator gives you guided onboarding and helps you with the setup. Grasshopper, on the other hand, is described as being completely self-service. Which one's better? Well, that really just depends on your team. Do you have the tech know-how to do it yourself, or do you want someone to hold your hand through the process?
And at the end of the day, the source material really wraps up its whole argument with this one powerful idea. It's framing this as more than just picking a tool. It's about deciding to commit to a modern, AI-powered way of talking to your customers, one that brings everything together.
So, that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. This whole analysis isn't really about which tool has a longer feature list. The real question it forces us to ask is our communication setup, the one we're using right now, actually built for the way customers want to talk to us today? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.